in this aspect of the fact that I'm not here to tell you that I'm a cheerleader. I'm not a cheerleader.
That's right.
Listen, I'm not your cheerleader. I don't think we need to be here for a pep talk, because here's what happens at a pep talk: we all get excited, and we all get up and we walk out here and we have this weekend. When the weekend's over, we're right back to life again. See, so what happens is we get these pep talks and they end up doing nothing because Monday comes again, and then nothing. See, I found a quote by somebody I don't even know. Surround yourself with awesome, confident, positive, and optimistic people who will encourage you to stretch, grow, and achieve. The more positive energy you have around you, the more positive your world will be. I'm like, that's great! But those people annoy me! I need you to be a little bit miserable sometimes, because life isn't always puppy dogs and rainbows. Sometimes we have things that go wrong. In fact, sometimes it's kind of quite the opposite. Sometimes I'm the guy who finds the negative in things. Like I look around and I'll find the fault. And my wife appreciates that greatly. Listen, I don't think it's necessarily bad if we intentionally find the wrong sometimes. Because as we find the wrongs, we know what we need to fix. Because if I don't look at what's wrong, I think everything's fine. Nothing gets changed. See, finding the negative hasn't been real hard lately. Because, man, there's a lot of negative going around and I'm crushing it and finding it. Listen, I don't have to look very far to come across it. It's everywhere, and especially inside of politics. Especially inside of any government leaders. Because here's what the problem is right now: it's politics as usual. It's just the same thing, they just keep doing it. Nothing seems to change. Now, every now and then a different face will come along, but it's ultimately the same old thing. They might change who they get to put up there for a little while, but ultimately still has the same outcome. And then here's what happens: people have just come to accept politics as usual, which will keep doing the same thing. Who cares? See, there's this story that says that this man comes walking up to this elephant camp. And when he comes walking up to this elephant camp, he realizes that they're there. And there's this one little rope that holds this big old elephant in place. And the guy kind of walks up to him and he says, "Hey, what is that about?" And the trainer then starts explaining to him. He says, "Listen," he goes, "what it is when they were little tiny elephants, we put that little rope around them. And as they grew, they never realized that they could break that rope. So it was just kind of trained inside of them that this rope holds me here." And they never really thought about it. They were conditioned to believe that it can't let me break away. Listen, they think that rope can still hold them. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. The people are the elephants. So they mind-numbingly kind of follow around and they start trusting people and start voting for the same old people, thinking that they're stuck to those people. Listen, I'm broke, I'm a pastor, and I'm cheap. So there's a dollar store. Why is that guy gotta go?
Keep going.
There's a dollar store over by my house, and I went walking up there this last election cycle. When I walked in, there's a guy in there, and he's talking to the employees, and he's bragging about the fact that he goes, "I went and voted today, and this guy's a libertarian." Like, "Yeah, Dave, right, go vote." And then this is how he finishes: "Democrat all the way down the line." That's how the guy got thrown out of the dollar store. That's a whole different one. See, he said it proudly because that's all he knew. Because the Democrat Party was his rope that was holding him that he thought he couldn't break away from. See, here's what I'm going to tell you. Good Lord, we're from one to the other. You want me to stay or go? What's our plan here? Listen, now I know where I'm supposed to be. Here we go. Right, so the elephants are on the road. The two major parties are on the road. The elephants, the two major parties are on the road. Listen, whichever letter they like, whichever letter they're used to, that's the rope that keeps holding them back again. See, here's what's happening: is that rope has turned to this false hope of empty promises, and they wrongly taught them that a government that makes handouts is good for them. And I think in this room we can understand a government that gives handouts is decided to get intentional. And that's why I'm running for Jacksonville City Council at Large 5. Woo! Outside of all the given things, there's a kind of a threefold idea to this. And here's how we do it real quick. One is this. You can't complain and do nothing. See, I'm the guy who likes to complain. That's what I do. That's my wheelhouse. I'll tear up and complain. But here's what I often tell everybody, people around me. I say, you can't just keep yapping and complaining and not do something. So I finally decided it was time for me to do something. The second reason why I was running is that there's a voice for people who ordinarily don't care and don't have a voice. You can go to tubforjets.com and you can see all that information that I have on there about why I wanted to be a voice for people who no longer have a voice. See, and the third thing that kind of made me run is kind of the thing that applies the most right here. It's time to bring the Libertarian Party to the forefront of things. I'm struggling in my head with this idea. We're number 3? How are we number 3? So I looked at it. It's time for us to get involved. It's time for us to bring the party forward. And here's what I'm telling you. Not Soil and Water Commission. I'm sorry. I raised that risk when I put it in there. And here's what I'm getting at. For us, Soil and Water Commission, I don't know what party you're part of. You get in and nobody knows. You're just this guy who did some pretty cool things. So I started looking at like, you know what? Like the party has to be known about something. Because then I asked the question, these people who are getting in Soil and Water, what's the conversion rate? Once they get out of Soil and Water, now they can put a cool little L or LPF next to their name. Does anybody know? Does anybody know what's going on? So I started looking like it's time for something to happen. So here's the problem. The more involved I got, the more I'm learning. Libertarians run in 1,000 different directions. Everybody's got their own thing. Everybody's doing their own thing. Everybody's got their own beliefs. And we're going to fight with each other to prove it. See, here's what happens. It's fine that we run in different directions. And we're not going to, I always mention that it's like herding cats with dealing with libertarians. Everybody's trying to run off somewhere. It's fine. I think it's fine that we have these differences and we can debate things and we can kind of have things going on. But you know what our problem is right now? As a party, we're focusing on the differences. We're focusing on the things that make us different instead of the things that bring us together. Woo! I'll give you a Bible verse real quick because I am a pastor. All right?
Couldn't.
Jesus, you've heard of him. If a kingdom is divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house is divided against itself, that house will not be able to stand. Listen, I understand that if we're here, you are not a fan of the big 2. But there are certain things that the big 2 do effectively.
Right?
There's a certain thing that they have together. You know what that is? They come together.
Yeah.
They know when at some point it's time to bring us together and get past all the differences. See, here's what happens. They've learned to stay united, even if it's not perfect. They've learned to come together and rally. That's why they've become the big 2. See, here's what's happening. They have learned that the best thing we can do is keep the elephants tied up. Libertarians don't worry about keeping the elephant tied up. See, here's what I'm going to tell you. They've become way better at bringing the people together than we do. Libertarians are listed as the number 3 largest political party in the country. And you wouldn't know it by the way we come together or the way we don't come together. See, I believe it's time to cut that elephant free. It's time for us to realize that it's about freedom. See, here's what has to happen. That once that elephant gets cut free, See, there has to be something that when that elephant gets cut free, there has to be something for him to be drawn to. And I'm going to tell you, that's the Libertarian Party. That's what I don't want to waste this opportunity. So let me kind of suggest something crazy real quick. Politics as usual is very good for us. Because here's what's happening. As politics as usual keep happening, it's forcing people to kind of look around. Start questioning, why are we voting for these people still? Politics as usual is to our benefit right now. Because here's what I'm finding. How many of y'all are going out here talking to people and you realize that R or D, they're all a little upset with their party right now? That's an opportunity for us. Here's what I'm telling you. I listen to entirely too much talk radio. Entirely too much. But I'll tell you what. Libertarians have been getting mentioned an awful lot lately. And getting mentioned by, hey, if you're those libertarians for releasing them, and then they want to start claiming to be libertarian. All of a sudden, they want some freedom, they want to be libertarian also. Listen, here's what I'm slowly finding out. The more people I go out and I talk to, and I don't talk to them about Tug for city council, I talk to them about the Libertarian Party. And it's funny that the more people I talk to about the party, the more people go, yeah, you know what, I believe stuff like that. I believe those types of things, but here's what's happening. They're chained. Their rope is there. Libertarians all new to them. And so they realize, wait a minute, it's not all new at all. I like freedom, they like freedom. See, here's what's happening. That group needs to hear. Now, they're not going to completely agree with us. We don't even completely agree with us. See, something needs to happen. If politics as usual is not okay for the Republicans and the Democrats, it's not okay for us either. See, things get different when we start doing something different. I want us to be intentional about being involved with what's going on. Find your way of involvement. This does not make you involved.
Right.
Because you'll hung out in a hotel for a weekend. That's a big risk for the party. He's talking to a bad church. See, here's what I'm going to tell you. You know what I've been hearing as I've been going around in this crazy circle of libertarians, which I've been a part of for 17 years now? Thank you. My wife didn't even clap for that. Here's what I'm hearing. Libertarians are saying, oh, they're good, but they're not libertarian enough. How many of y'all heard that one? How many of y'all said that one? So listen, what does libertarian enough mean? If they don't agree with everything that I agree with, they're not libertarian enough. They're saying the same thing about you. See, maybe it comes down to that your level of involvement is that it's time that maybe you legitimately run yourself. Put yourself out there and do something. Zero desire for city council. None. But then I realized there's a need. And sometimes, if I believe in the better of all, I got to sacrifice me a little bit. See, all of us talk about the better of all the people, but how many of us are actually doing something about it? There was this thing I was kind of learning, you lead by example. You want to tell them to go do something, but you're not willing to go do something yourself. See, here's what you can do. If you look at it and you go, you know what, me running? I'm good right where I'm at. That's cool, I get it. But you know what? If you can't, how about actually supporting the ones who are trying to make a change? How about instead of sitting around in our circles on social media and everything and griping about the other person, how about instead of griping about them, you support them for the things that we can agree on? There's no reason why the outside would want to be a part of us if we can't get our act together ourselves. What makes the R or D want to be an L if we look and act just like them? instead of just fussing and walking around complaining about what we don't like, let's talk about the things that we do like. Let's talk about the things that we do have in common. Let's talk about the things that as together we can make something happen. Now here's what I'm going to tell you. That who wasn't mentioning time, talent, and treasure? Martha. Oh man, you know the church guy in me? Yes. You talk about time, talent, and treasure. Yes, time, talent, and treasure. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Use your gifts. Whatever you're gifted in, help the party with it. If you're not going to be a kid, that's fine. Are you one of those computer dorks? Get on it.
You're here.
Love. There it is. Here's what I'm going to tell you that yes, if you can financially help, financially help. Here's what I found. Some people that can't have any time and effort to go out and do things, but they can give a little bit. And here's what I can tell you. I got to close it. All right, close it up. Man. So here's what I'm going to tell you. While I'm seeking office in Jacksonville City Council on March 5, I'm running as a candidate in the currently number 3 political party. A party that I've come to realize has great ideas but horrible execution. I've realized it's time to start changing it. I've realized I can't just complain. Something has to happen. I have to be willing to be that something. You have to be willing to be that something. We have to be willing to be that something. So here's what I'm going to tell you real quick. Here's what I'm going to tell you real quick. I'm not serious. I'm not here acting like you go pep talk. I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to challenge you to do more. I'm here to challenge you to be better. I'm here to challenge me to be better. And that's why I will proudly run as a Libertarian for Jacksonville City Council. Listen, I don't think I need to be a cheerleader. We don't need that. We need a call to action, guys. We need a call to do what we need. We have to all be a part of that. We have to all come together and make that happen if we're going to get to where we're supposed to be. So I thank you, and I appreciate your time. And vote Libertarian, not just for Tub. Wherever they are, find them and vote for them.